Hello, CMS Eagles. Today we're going to talk about our iReady series of assessments so we understand what they are, why we use them, and how they can help you. First of all, what is iReady? Well, iReady is a series of tests given in math and reading, and they diagnose your instructional needs, which means it lets teachers know what your strengths are and what you need some help with. It also measures progress and growth, so it tells us whether or not you are on track to the move to the next grade level. And as we also know, it also assigns you lessons to remediate those instructional needs that it identifies. So why do we use iReady? Well, we need to know what you already know. We also need to know what we need to reteach you from previous grades. We need to know what kind of books are best for you to read. And we need to know at the end of the year whether or not you are on track to move to the next grade level. iReady also gives us very specific information on these reading domains and these math domains, which we'll take a look at in more detail in a minute. There's different types of tests with iReady. You may feel like you've taken a lot of these tests this year, and you kind of have, but it gives us really good information about what you do and do not know. So the first ones that we have taken have been the diagnostic tests. That was the one that was given in September at the very beginning of the year. We will also be taking another diagnostic test here in January, and we will take our final one in May at the end of the year. These tests, these diagnostic tests, we call benchmarking tests, and you'll see that on a chart here later on. They are much longer because they give us a score for each of those domains that we just looked at. It also gives us an overall level for each of those domains, whether you're a level 5, a level 6, a level 7, a level 8. They are highly accurate when they're taken correctly, meaning when you take these tests the way that you need to take these tests, they are a very good indicator of what you do and do not know. After you take a diagnostic test, they also create lessons that are used to remediate your weak domains. Meaning, if the diagnostic test states that you had a lot of trouble with the algebra problems on your diagnostic test, then it's going to create a series of lessons to help you practice those weak areas. The other types that we have taken in October, December, and we will take again in March are called growth checks or growth monitoring assessments. They are very quick. Maybe some of you only had ones that were like 10 questions, and they give us a really quick overall score just to let us know whether or not you're getting better. So I think of it like a pendulum swing, meaning is your score kind of swinging in the right direction? Are you getting better? And if we see where you're getting better, it means what we're doing is working. If we see that you're not getting better, then that lets us know that we might need to intervene with, some remediation or some extra help in class, or look at how you're doing on your iReady lessons. The growth checks do not reassign the lessons, which means when you take the diagnostic test in September, those are going to be the lessons that you are assigned until January. Now, when you take this diagnostic test again in January, it's going to assign you lessons that you will be completing all the way until May. So that's where it is very important for you to take this test and really show what you know. Because if not, you're going to be working on lessons until May that are not helping you with what you need help with. So they're just going to be a big fat waste of your time. I know these lessons have not been highly popular with everybody, but they're even going to be worse if you're working on things that you don't need help with. So if you're spending the time on the lessons anyways, you might as well spend the time on things that are actually going to help you. So when you get a report, this is kind of what it's going to look like. So it lets you know your overall level, meaning this person was overall level 7. And then it's going to let you know your overall level in each of those domain areas. So if I think about this, this person is overall a level 7, which means operating on about a 7th grade level. That shows us that it's yellow, which means that this person is a little bit behind where they need to be. If I look at each of those domain areas, the red X is indicating that this person is much more behind in the number and operations domain than in some of the other domains. Measurement and data is considered a strength. I got a green check on that. So what that means is when this person has lessons, the number and operation lessons are going to be the first lessons that are assigned. So this person is going to get to practice the things that really are giving him trouble in class. We also all have growth targets. So all of us have a certain number of points that we need to improve in order to make our growth target for the year. Some of us need to make a year's worth of growth. Some of us might need to make a year and a half worth of growth. Some of us need to make a 2-year growth in order to catch up. It's all determining based on what our benchmark said in the beginning of the year. So you're going to get some tracks for that today so you know how much growth you need to make in order to be on target by the end of the year. All of us are shooting for what we call proficiency, meaning that we all are on grade level, and that's going to help us to be the most prepared for the next school year. So to be considered proficient, we all need to meet the mid range for that grade level. So you see the numbers here, which are really our target numbers for proficiency in reading for each grade level. And these would be considered our target numbers to be considered proficient in math. So if you're looking at some of those numbers and you're thinking that maybe you might not reach that by the end of the year, keep in mind that we all just want to make growth. If you're looking at those numbers and you're saying, well, I'm already there, now what? Well, now you need to concentrate on making that year's worth of growth so that you get even better. So how can your iReady lessons help you with that? Well, the iReady lessons are going to give you the most help in what are your weakest skill areas. So to do well with those, you need to watch the screen during the tutorial. You need to listen during the tutorial with headphones. Those are for sale for $1 in the media center. And you need to use the practice session to fix your mistakes. So if you miss something, like if you work out a problem and you get it wrong, you need to listen to them helping you correct your mistakes so that you do it right the next time. If you want to know how you're doing on your iReady lessons, here's where you go. So if I want to look at reading, I go in here. This is just a demo account, so this isn't doesn't have any assignments on here. But I can go to the My Progress box and I can see how many lessons I have actually passed. The key is passing at a 70% or above. And then I can click on Detail, and the detail is going to give me scores for all the lessons. So those look good because they're all 70 or above. So if I come down here to vocabulary, I see some that are not 70 or above, but I can also see where this person failed a lesson, but then they went back the next time and passed it. So I feel like that's pretty good. This one with context clues, this person has actually failed 2 times in a row. So that might be a time where you might want to raise your hand and say to your teacher, hey, I think I'm going to need a little bit of help to get through this lesson. Do you think you can sit with me and kind of, talk me through some of these problems so I get some help? That's the best thing that's really going to help you with iReady. All right, so what you're going to get here soon is our goal setting sheet that we're going to do. So please pay attention so that you understand how to fill this in when your teacher gives this to you. So this is going to help us to set short-term goals for ourselves and long-term goals. So let's look at an example here for Joselle Flores, who's going to be setting some goals for math. So you see here for Joselle, she's just put her name and subject on here. And what her teacher has let her know is that Joselle is a track 2 student, meaning that in order to make the amount of growth that she needs, she's going to need to make 36 points growth this year. So back in September, Joselle scored a 487 on her math test, so she wrote that number in the box, and she knows that she is track 2. She needs to make 36 points growth over the course of the year. So what she has done now is she has said, okay, well, what's my long-term goal? Well, if I have to make 36 points growth, then I need to say 487 was my benchmark. I'm going to add 36 onto that. She got 523 there, and she went ahead and put that number for her long-term goal. And then all she did was connect that line as straight as possible. And we're calling that our aim line, meaning I'm trying to increase my score by the end of the year from 487 all the way to 523. So now what she's going to do is create a short-term goal for herself, meaning where should she be by mid-year on this January assessment that we're going to do to make sure that she's on track to make that amount of growth. So in order to do that, she's just looking at what her mid-year goal, which was her starting point of 487. And now she took that 36 and just cut it in half because we're in the middle of the year. So she's saying if I'm going to make 36 points growth by the end of the year, then I should make about 18 points growth by the middle of the year. So she added on 487 plus 18 and got 505. So what that's telling us is that when we find out our diagnostic score from January, we want Joselle to be at least to 505. Well, let's say Joselle comes back and her mid-year score is 523 already. That's fantastic. That means she is on target to make more than enough growth by the end of the year.
You're going to have a delivery on the back dock. If someone go out there and take that item to Crystal Hardison's room, please go out to the back dock.
Please excuse the interruption. So obviously more is great, but we want to be at that minimum by middle of the year. And then all Joselle did was just fit in a plan for how she's going to do that. So she said that she wants to complete 2 instructional lessons per week. I would even challenge you to use a different word besides complete, because we don't want to just complete lessons. We want to pass lessons. If you have not been doing your homework, that could be a goal for how you're going to improve. If you haven't been coming to school, hey, coming to school could be a plan for how you're going to improve. Anything that you feel like is going to help you there. So what's next? Well, you are going to have to calculate and set goals for your improvement. So your teacher is going to give you one of those goal setting sheets. Your teacher is going to tell you what your beginning of the year score was, and your teacher is going to tell you which track you're on, so you know how many points growth you need to make. We have our diagnostic test the week of January 25th, so do your best. Remember that your new lessons are going to be assigned based on your achievement. And continue to stay focused in class and on iReady lessons. Every minute counts, so that we show tons of growth and proficiency. We are all CMS Eagles, and we want to make sure that people know that Clayton Middle is the best school in Johnston County. Good luck.